Hello, Saints. This week in our Revelation class, we're dealing with the interlude section between the second woe and the third woe, or the sixth trumpet and the seventh trumpet. This is an enlargement of what's happening just before Jesus comes. This is stuff that's happening there within the second woe and prepares us for what's happening. We see here the finishing of what Daniel had started. And in chapter 10, what we see here is this angel, this mighty, strong angel, who has an open scroll in his hand. And in his hand, we call the open scroll Daniel, the book of Daniel. We say that it's opened. And now we understand it, because before it had been sealed. But it's more than just saying it's the book of Daniel. That's kind of like a quick, easy way to get through it. What we have in this book is the rest of what God is going to unfold through the rest of the book of Revelation. And we're going to see that. When we usually read chapter 10 about the angel with the open scroll, and then we go and read about the two witnesses, we often read about them as if they're two separate things. You know, I tell one story about this, now I'm going on and talk about the two witnesses. But they're not different. They're the same story. They're part and parcel. They have to come together. Because if this here, with that open scroll open, when the angel asked John to eat it, and it'd be sweet in his mouth, bitter in his belly, he's talking about what they had as about an experience of giving the gospel and wrapping things up. A lot of us have equated that with the Millerite movement. That's a great picture. But then he tells John, you got to prophesy again. Whatever you did before, you got to do it again. And somebody's been prophesying, but we're not done with it. And he says to me, you must prophesy again concerning many nations, many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. This four-part description here we see used about 6 times in the book of Revelation, never repeated exactly the same. But it's designating the 4 cardinal points: global, universal. We're not just to preach the gospel, we're to preach the gospel everywhere. The prophecy is not just to go to the world, to people in the world, but to the whole world, everywhere. And so this is what we pick up on. And of course, as Adventists, we understand that this message has to go through the whole world. That's the first angel's message, to preach the gospel to those who dwell on the earth, and to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. It goes to those who don't believe, everywhere, 4 corners of the earth. And so that's what we see here being declared. And then we see the picture of the two witnesses. What we have in the two witnesses, I believe, is what we call an abstract. The abstract is this. It takes and picks up from what the angels had in his hand. It's just a quick story of the problem with sin on the earth, and takes us to the end of the book. It's the contents of the rest of the book of Revelation. And so we're going to take a look at those two witnesses next time. Blessings.